let's get into this wall hanging, and all you're going to need is some wood dowels, yarn, parchment paper, paint, and a hot glue gun. So I first started off with these wood dowels, which I found at Michael's for about $3. They're just like toothpicks without the points. And the nice thing about gluing on top of parchment paper is that the hot glue peels off instantly. It doesn't stick at all. So you can glue on top of it, create shapes, and then pull them off later. So I actually created these hexagon shapes using these small wooden dowels, and I created 2 hexagons that were smaller or just like hexagon shapes themselves. And then I created a larger centerpiece that was actually 3 hexagons connected. And a cool little tip for you guys is you can actually burn down those weld points with the tip of your hot glue gun. So if you do need to like melt that down or make it look smoother or anything, if you added too much glue, use the tip to melt it down. And this is the center point right here, this like triple hexagon shape. And then all you're gonna need to do is take a bit of string, yarn, whatever you wanted to use to attach, and attach your shapes together, and you really have your brand new wall mobile hanging. And I think this would look so cool on a window, on a mirror, on a wall, anywhere you wanna add a little bit of extra decor. I also forgot to mention that I actually kept it plain wood over the black paint that I was originally gonna do because I liked the wood look much better. Would you believe me if I told you these coasters costed under $2 to make, and all you're gonna need is some foam core, some pleather fabric, scissors, an X-Acto knife, ruler, and E6000 adhesive. So you're first gonna start off by taking your foam board, and this is literally like that project board you use for science projects, and it's a foam-based one, and you're gonna cut them into 4x4-inch squares. I just found that this was the nicest size for a coaster. And then I used this pleather fabric I found at Joann's on sale for $1 for a quarter yard of it, and I just cut out with about 1 inch around each edge. I did it very roughly, and I E6000 adhesived the foam down to the backing and then cut off the corners like I'm doing here. So basically you're gonna want a tiny bit exposed on the corner like I'm showing, because when you fold it over like this, you want that corner to be pointed and you don't want it to be showing the foam core board. All I'm gonna do after that is take the E6000, glue it down, and then press a book on top of it so that it keeps the weight on there, and just let it dry for a few hours. Supplies for this rustic bowl are so simple. All you're gonna need is a glass bowl, some air dry clay, paint, and a paintbrush. So this is the air dry clay. I actually got this at Target in the kids section. It's very easy to work with. I love it. I'm never gonna switch back to the normal clay. Plus it dries in the air, which is really nice compared to having to like physically go bake it in an oven, you know? So I took this dollar bowl from Target, it's just a glass bowl, and I covered it in a layer of the air dry clay. And once you have your full layer on, I used a little bit of water on my fingertips to just smooth the surface. And I actually learned this in a ceramics class I took in high school, so it's coming in handy right now. But you can just use a little bit of water, it smooths down the surface, and it makes all cracks disappear and just everything just kind of meld a little bit better. And then I used a small piece of parchment paper and a heavy object to create a new bottom for this bowl. And then after that, I used a paintbrush, and I used the opposite end of the paintbrush to draw in some horizontal lines, just because I wanted a little bit of texture, and then once again went back in with that water to just clean up the lines, and this made it look so much better. Like if I didn't use this, it would have looked a little bit rough and jagged, which it did on the top, which I was able to fix with this nail file. So I used a nail file to roughen or just clean off those edges. And lastly, went in with a little bit of paint. So this is just watered down black paint, and I just painted it however I felt. I did a little bit of an ombre, and then also filled in all of those lines to just deepen the design, and added my signature on the bottom for authenticity.